Hello, Facebook. I'm Elizabeth Floyd, and I work as the digital and social media coordinator for the National Memorial Day concert here at the West Lawn of the U.S. Capitol. I am backstage right before dress rehearsal with our co-host, Joe Mantegna. Joe, thank you so much for taking a moment to speak with us tonight.
My pleasure.
I know this is your 15th time on the National Memorial Day concert.
Right.
Why do you keep returning?
I return because it's the most important thing I do every year. And it really is, because it's my way of even reminding myself to be thankful for our U.S. military throughout its history of this country, to allow me to certainly live the life I've been able to live, which has been pretty good, and pretty good for a great majority of the people in this country. So I think it's just the least I can do, and I'm proud to do it.
You have been such a committed voice and advocate for our troops and military families. What has inspired this?
Well, I think just that. I mean, you know, there's the saying goes, freedom isn't free, but some people pay a much higher price for that freedom than others. And so when somebody decides to give service to their country and basically sign a contract saying, if need be, I'll give my life for the defense of this country, to me that says it all.
It's such a powerful sentiment, and I know you come from a military family as well, so this idea of service must just be really important to you.
Well, it is. I mean, I was raised by five, you know, my father was hospitalized during the entire Second World War. So my five uncles were very influential on my life, and all five of them were combat World War II veterans. So I grew up around men who were real role models for me, and men who understood what it was like to have to, you know, go out and do what you needed to do. And I was lucky they all came back, but I know a lot of others didn't, and that's why we have this holiday.
Right. And earlier, when we were doing our camera blocking rehearsals here on site, I noticed you were wearing a Red Tails jacket. Can you tell us about that?
Well, as it turns out, I mean, just through my connections with the military and my involvement with them over so many years, one person I ran into a few years ago at a telethon was Colonel Bob Friend, who's here tonight and will be one of the Tuskegee Airmen that we're honoring. 97 years old, pilot, former Tuskegee Airman. Just an incredible human being, incredible individual. And his brother-in-law Harry, who was also Tuskegee Airman, is here with him. And we've got four others from the Washington area. So it's just some of the greatest people I've met in my life were just due to my connection with the military, and Bob Friend is one of them.
So over the last 15 Memorial Day concerts, you've had this opportunity to share so many different stories and to hear so many different stories. Are there any stories that have really stuck out with you over the years?
You know, they all stick out. Every year it's different. Every year it's always, you think to yourself, wow, what more can be said or what more can be done to move you and to enlighten you and to educate you. And every year they're there.
Right. So,
you know, I just encourage people to just watch it, because in this 90-minute program, it gives you a perfect snapshot of why we have Memorial Day. And I think it's the least people could do is to take out 90 minutes from barbecuing and watching the Indianapolis 500 and maybe understanding why we have this holiday.
And we talk often about this divide between the military and civilian. How do you think that we as civilians could help to close this gap?
Well, I think it's better. I grew up through a generation in Vietnam where, like, our veterans were scorned and spat upon and things like that. I mean, so I think we're a little bit better educated now. I think what we need to do is I'm part of a group that's trying to advocate, you know, bringing civics back to high schools. So in order to get your high school diploma, you have to pass the same test that we give new citizens. Because I think part of it is a lot of people just don't understand how the government works and how important our military works in terms of, you know, in terms of living in this country. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Just education.
That's such an incredible mission. I know coming here and seeing the Capitol in front of us and seeing the military families and wounded warriors out in the audience, it's just this incredibly moving experience. As someone just watching, can you put into words what it feels like to be on
It's hard to describe. I mean, you're getting a little bit of a shot of it right now. I mean, so look at it this way. Tomorrow night there may be 250,000 people out there. And I have the National Symphony Orchestra on stage, and I'll be saying in the past I've had to say the words of firemen who've lost their sons in 9/11 and men who had lost their brothers or sons in combat. So it transcends being an actor. I mean, that's what I do for a living. This is something else, and it's as I said, it's the most important thing I do every year because this is the real deal.
So I only have one final question for you. What should our viewers, what do they have to look forward to tomorrow? Like, what are you most excited to?
I'm most excited about all of it. I mean, we've got a wonderful selection of actors doing dramatic readings. We have wonderful music selection of musicians, singers. So like I said, I think the least you can do is take 90 minutes out. Trust me, if you just even watch it for 10 minutes, you'll be hooked and realize, wow, this is pretty interesting. This is because when it works, and it always works, you'll have people smiling, you'll have people crying, you'll have people, it touches you in a lot of different ways, and I think that's why we do it.
Thank you so much, Joe, for taking time to come speak to us. And you can see Joe Mantegna tomorrow on the National Memorial Day concert, airing live on PBS at 8/7 Central, and we're also streaming on Facebook Live at facebook.com/PBS. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.